FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present WAWR Week Radio Chats with ring announcer and commentator Joseph Herron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Friday to all of you guys. And I tell you what, you guys have been I have missed you guys all week. Last podcast I had was on Sunday night. And because of, a lot of work I had to do with a local promotion that we're actually doing. And it's going to be going live from San Antonio, Texas tomorrow evening. I'm going to be doing commentary on all 9 fights at the Shrine Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm going to be joined by my counterpart, tonight's guest on WAWR Week Radio Network for the first time, the incomparable 210 Boxing, Brandon Walker. Brandon, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Pleasure to be with you. Yeah, exciting weekend coming up. I got a big card next month with Canelo Charlo. And yeah, just really big things coming.
Well, I tell you what, brother, I wanted to save this for a little bit later on in the show because we have a lot to talk about. Let me just go over the syllabus real quick, guys. Once again, a lot of people have taken exception to, the first 30 minutes or 40 minutes of James Gogie's show this past Sunday, in which we, picked apart, Terrence Crawford's current victory lap and him basically slandering and just poking holes and throwing daggers in everyone responsible for making him a superstar. And once again, it just throwing daggers at Top Rank, criticizing the business as a whole, the business that made him a multimillionaire. And we're going to, once again, just debunk all of the bullshit, all of the, misconceptions regarding Terrence Crawford's claim that, PBC tried to blackball me. We're going to ask Brandon what he thinks about all of that as well. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to, I'm going to give you my review of At Home with the Furies, the current 9-episode series on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to give you my review. I watched all 9 episodes, and I also spoke with my brother, Javen Sugar Hill Stewart, the head trainer of Tyson Fury, and got his thoughts about everything, right? And we're also going to preview Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. And did someone, basically give Dubois the kiss of death in his pre-fight prognostications? All of that. But guys, right now, we're going to give Brandon Walker the full red carpet treatment. Yeah. On WAWR Week Radio. And we're going to start off with a, fact or fiction. Floyd, please.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Thank you, Floyd. Fact or fiction? Jermell Charlo will indeed pull off the upset over Canelo Alvarez on September 30th. Fact or fiction, Brandon?
I'm going to go with fiction. I would love for Charlo to pull it off, but I feel like, hey, this is Canelo's first fight of the PBC deal. So, he got, I don't want to say an easy fight, but he got a fight where everything is in his favor, where he should win, fighting a guy coming up to weight class. Now, of course, I know fans are going to come with, Charlo's a bigger guy and this and that. But Canelo walks around 200 pounds,
Yep.
Canelo has legs like tree trunks, you know what I mean? And it's, there's weight classes for a reason, if Canelo is washed, if he's declined a lot, then maybe we can see a good fight. But the undercard is absolutely loaded, but as far as the main event,
awesome.
Not so.
Well, I'll tell you what, would you mind educating us on the full undercard? And once again, I found out today, just because you asked me so nicely, that your man, Jesus Ramos, is still going to be featured
As a
on the
promoter.
co-main
Yes,
event
sir.
opposite
Yes, sir.
Erickson Lubin. Guys, in my opinion, that has the makings for fight of the year. Am I wrong in stating that, Brandon?
Well, I spoke to Jesus Ramos, and he said, I told him this is a hard fight, and he told me, nah, no, it's not, because I'm going to show you it's not a hard fight. I've never heard him talk like this, but he's really growing, and I think people don't understand the difference between him and just even a year ago. If you look at the fight with Santa Maria,
I can't hear
and
you
then you
anymore,
look,
brother.
and then
Can
you
you
look
hear
at,
me?
yes, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I was covering the phone. If you look at the fight with Santa Maria, and then look at the fight with Joey Spencer, it was night and day, night and day. And
Yep.
Lubin's gonna try to bang. You know, we know Lubin's game plan. We know how he's gonna fight. But the card is absolutely loaded. We got Jesus Ramos. You got, of course, the main event, Canelo Charlo, and then you got Jesus Ramos against Erickson Lubin as the co-main event. Mario Barrios against Ugas for the WBC interim 147.
That's it.
Elijah Garcia will be the opening televised part
Wow.
against Armando Ascendis, who's coming off a big upset win over Jared Hurd.
That's right.
So
And that's at 160, correct?
yes, 160. Elijah Garcia fights at 160. Now he's trying to rush to a title shot. Hopefully they pump the brakes on him a little bit. I mean, he's world class caliber, but he's so young. He's only 19. I don't even know if he turned 20 yet, but he's so young. So I feel like we got to take the time. But PBC is all in on this. This is a big Mexican boxing card. You know, of course, the other. It was going to, be big Charlo. So September 16th was going to make sense. And if you look at it, this is a September 16th card, really a Mexican independence type card featuring so many Mexican fighters. I mean, you get Canelo, Jesus Ramos, Mario Barrios, and Elijah Garcia. On the untelevised part of the card, Carmel Moulton, Floyd Mayweather's protege, is supposed to have his debut on that card. 17 years old. He's a workhorse. I've been in the gym with him several times, watched many sparring sessions of him. A lot of people, they see clips on YouTube and social media, but they haven't really been in the gym with him to know how good he actually is. And I know people think like, oh, he's hype, and because sometimes you could have a really good amateur and he doesn't pan out, but this kid he has more of a pro style than an amateur style. He's the goods. Omar Juarez from Brownsville is supposed to be on the undercard as well. I spoke to Robert Merriweather. His son, Robert Merriweather III, is going to be on the card. So, I mean, from top to bottom, you get even the untelevised part. You get good fights. You get good fighters, good prospects that you're going to want to see in the future. I mean, Carmel Moulton. I mean, hey, that people are going to tune in just to want to see him, just to want to see. Because you hear so many people saying, "Oh man, he looked exactly like Tank." People even say he looks like Canelo. It's funny, but it's such a loaded card. I can't decide which fight I want to see the most. Of course, Jesus Ramos. But I mean, leading up to the main event, it's going to be very interesting what the crowd is like, what the atmosphere is like. Because Spence Crawford, it was insane. Spence Crawford, I was there. The atmosphere was electric. It was awesome. And I think with Crawford, a lot of maybe the way he's feeling is because that was the first big fight like that he was a part of. Like, yes, he fought Sean Porter, but the buzz was nothing like the way it was this evening. Every superstar, every celebrity was there. Yep. So I feel like Crawford knows he's not going to have many nights like this. Maybe why he's resentful, because it's like he's 36 and it's like, damn, I was able to show out in front of the world, in front of Eminem, in front of literally every NBA player, rapper, athlete you could imagine was there. Like I saw everyone. And it's right now, whether people want to admit it or not, PBC, they put on events like no other. And so people can talk about, that he was blackballed and this and that, but all the promoters do it. Top Rank has an exclusive deal with ESPN where Shakur's not going to go fight on PBC. So people get mad that Tank's not fighting Shakur or Tank's not fighting Devin Haney. But again, those fights are not ready yet. They're going to build those fights, but it's not, Top Rank's not going to let their guys just go to PBC. It's not, I mean, Joseph, you could speak on it a little bit. Everyone does it,
Well, look, and that was our point, right? And I made this video, right? Did PBC try to blackball Bud Crawford? And it's a load of nonsense. It's fan-driven nonsense. Oh, PBC, they blackballed and they tried to freeze out Terrence Crawford. And if you listen to lesser channels, guys, ones who aren't in the business, will never be in the business, they really don't even understand what that term means. Guys, if you want to understand what freezing out a fighter, putting him on ice, blackballing him, if you really want to understand what that means, look no further than what Top Rank and how they treated Mikey Garcia. He was a royal pain in the ass at the time. And I remember I spoke with Bruce Trampler, once again, not understanding his realistic market value, thinking that just because he had the title, that he should receive A-side money, when HBO clearly, they featured Yuri Orcus Gamboa at the time, and they tried to put that fight together, and they wanted to give him the lion's share of the purse, even though he wasn't the title holder at 135, right? But Mikey didn't understand that. He was being a royal pain in the ass, and so they said, well, you know what, buddy? We're going to freeze you out. We're going to put your ass on the shelf, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it because you're under contract for the next 5 years. Right? And so what happened? He didn't fight. For the next 3 years, he was completely inactive until Al Heyman bought out the rest of the remainder of his contract. Right? B, am I wrong in saying this? Hold on. I need to make this call. I need to take this call, brother.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that, guys. It was totally on dead air, right? Could you guys hear me at all? B, are you still there, brother?
Yes, I'm here. I had it on mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. My phone is blowing up for some reason right now. I guess people want to get tickets for tomorrow's event at the Shrine Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas on Loop 1604. Guys, it's going to be 9 bouts on the evening. And once again, I put the link if you guys want to watch the direct stream, how I and Brandon call the fights tomorrow. Once again, we're going to be featuring a lot of prospects. Javi Fernandez Jr., who's actually undefeated. He's going to be in the main event of the evening. And also, new signee to Louis DeCupas Jr., Rick Nunez Jr. Now, this is something that we disagree upon, Brandon, right? In my opinion, PBC, they really don't do their prospects justice, right? In my opinion, they move them along way too quickly, and they don't take enough time to nurture and cultivate their skill set throughout the 4, 6, and 8 round levels. Top Rank in comparison, when you look at Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they are the very best in boxing, in cultivating prospects. And once again, everyone, not all of their prospects are going to become big stars, but a greater percentage of probability is that, yeah, they're going to have a much greater chance of becoming successful fighters, big ticket sellers. and world champions as a result. In my opinion, PBC, you look at the last month alone, Elvias Gomez lost, blue chip prospect. Trayvon Marshall got knocked the fuck out, blue chip prospect. This is a problem for the future of PBC, in my opinion. Should a guy like Ricky Nunez, should he be concerned about their treatment of prospects moving forward?
Yeah, yes, and I mean yes and no. I would say no in his situation because his dad, Rick Nunez knows the business. He knows how to move him, and he's going to move him slow. He's not going to be one of these dads that's going to be like, oh no, my son's going to be a world champion next month. You know what I mean? So with that, it's different with little Ricky because you can put him on the local shows and just like David Cardenas, you can put him on the local shows, put him on these Texas cards, even take him down to Mexico and get him some wins, get him fights, build him up. A lot of guys, what happens is the guys that want to get the PBC contracts or want to become a PBC fighter, they get put on the undercards, on the untelevised undercards, and that's where they got to earn their bones. If you talk to a lot of prospects, they'll go with Top Rank or Matchroom because they'll say, hey, PBC may pay me more money, but they're going to give me way harder fights. So a lot of people, they have this misconception that if you're with PBC and, you're one of their guys like, Tank or Earl Spence or one of these guys or Wilder, that you haven't fought no one. And that's why you're that good, because that PBC is not going to match you with no one. And they're going to build you up to 35-0, which is the biggest lie, ever told. Now with Top Rank, they have the last two Olympic classes. And they have so many prospects. They have some can't miss guys like Bruce Shushu Carrington, Abdullah Mason. Those are the two guys that.
Yeah, they're going to be competing tomorrow night from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah,
exactly. So they're getting dates. That's the thing. If they were maybe on PBC, they wouldn't be built that way because they wouldn't get enough dates.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head, brother. That's the biggest problem, in my opinion, concerning PBC. And that's the reason why. Because keep in mind, they have two brilliant matchmakers in Tom Brown as well as Ron Katz, who's a Hall of Famer already. And Tom Brown is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's a future Hall of Famer, guys. Keep in mind, he earned his bones the hard way, being the matchmaker for Goose and Tudor Promotions, right? And Big Dan Goosen, God rest his soul. They are two of the best matchmakers in boxing. They're proven. They have proven success. And the only reason why they're not taking their time cultivating and nurturing these skills with these skill set with these prospects is because they don't have enough TV dates, in my opinion. Either on Paramount Plus, CBS, whatever. They need more TV dates and a developmental series. Unfortunately, ShowBox is run independently. They work with every single promoter, and because their budget is only $50,000 per event. Yeah, PBC, they choose not to put their prospects on those cards, right? And it's a damn shame. And that's a real problem for the future of PBC, in my opinion. But guys, Brandon, I'll get your final thoughts on this before we move forward, and talking about, once again, debunking the Terrence Crawford victory lap, in which he's, talking to every mainstream media outlet, insisting that boxing is indeed a shady business, right? Your final thoughts, though, on the PBC situation.
He should have signed a long time ago with PBC, and he should have been this guy that's going around doing all these media, doing all these interviews.
Look. And so you're jumping right to the Terrence Crawford thing. And once again, my biggest dilemma, my biggest problem with all of these guys who insist that, PBC froze him out. You're just being a revisionist historian if you don't think so. Well, you know what? Only the fuck nuts who don't understand the business, right? And that's what you get when you listen to lesser channels.
He re-signed with Top Rank.
To guys. Well, hold on. There's a very good reason for that. One, Well, they started paying him inflated purses.
He was happy with the guarantee.
And absolutely, as he should have been. And once again, his inflated sense of worth, it's not his fault. Guys, I have to get this. Once again, my phone is blowing up, brother. So go ahead, go off. Let me plant the tee in your grass, right? And just swing away. Let me put the golf ball in your tee, brother. Go ahead, swing away, man. Just go off on Terrence.
Well, I feel like with Crawford, I mean, he re-signed with Top Rank, and at the time, he was happy with the guarantee. But if you wanted the Errol Spence fight, if you wanted these super big fights, he had to go to PBC. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, you shouldn't have to cross the street and this and that." But unfortunately, that's the way it is. We don't have the days of HBO anymore, where HBO is that medium, or you can have somebody from Golden Boys, somebody from PBC, or you can have them meet in the middle, and HBO can mediate everything and get the fight done, like the way they did Triple G and Canelo and these type of fights. Now, what happens is we live in the day of boxing, that this era where when a guy's a big name, he's pretty much signed to a network. Where Shakur Stevenson is an ESPN fighter, Tank Davis is a Showtime fighter. And that's just the way it is. That's a reality. Now, of course, I would love to see Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson fight. I would love that fight. But it's not going to happen unless Shakur eventually becomes a free agent and he gets big enough to where he says, hey, you know what? I'm going to make the jump and move to PBC, similar to what Devin Haney does. Devin Haney and Bill Haney is really, really smart in the move that they don't commit until so many fights. For instance, Devin Haney just did his 3-fight deal with Top Rank, and now he's going to go fight with Matchroom to get the Regis fight. He's going where he can maximize his dollar and get paid the most. And unfortunately, right now, that's the way boxing is. Devin Haney's not getting froze out. It's just he's signing the deals that work for him. When Devin Haney eventually wants to fight Gervonta Davis, he can go to PBC and they'll make that fight.
Okay, so once again, Brandon, very good points. And once again, I bring up the point. Do you remember, once again, I gave you guys the precedence on what it truly means to be frozen out and be put on ice, put on the shelf, in how Top Rank and what they did with Mikey Garcia, right? That was their responsibility to cultivate that fighter. And what did they do? Well, they blackballed him, put him on ice. They thought it was a huge pain in the ass. We're just going to sit you on the shelf. And yeah, they did that. So once again, guys, I don't think these guys who are claiming, including Terrence Crawford, oh, PBC tried to blackball me. Well, once again, when was it their responsibility to get you fights, Terrence? Were you ever a mandated opponent for any of their fighters? Or were any of their fighters mandated to be your challenger? Yes, one, Sean Porter. And when it was mandated, guess what? The fight was made. Brother, once again, he doesn't understand the business. And he's, doing this victory lap, making it seem like, oh, Top Rank didn't want me to be a champion. Once again, talking like there's some magic formula that any promoter can use to make anyone a champion. It doesn't work like that, guys. Once again, the fans are the real bosses of boxing, and that's who determines who becomes a superstar. If the fans, once again, it's run just like the music business. There is no rhyme or reason why fans choose to gravitate towards a certain entertainer or not.
Whether it's a rapper or singer, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. Do they sell? That's what matters. How good they are.
That's it. And who determines that, Brandon?
The fans, the people.
That's it. So Terrence, it's not up to the promoter. Once again, if you have a problem with the way Bob Arum promoted you, what more could he do? He made you a headliner on the two most widely recognized, mainstream recognized boxing platforms at the time, HBO and ESPN. Paid you inflated purses, far exceeding your market value at the time. What more could he do? Now, once again, tell me, convince me that it was PBC's responsibility to get Terrence Crawford's fight and to try to cultivate his market value. And even when he did become a free agent, it still isn't their responsibility. Did he give Al Heyman and PBC options on his next 3 fights? No, but he still wanted a big guarantee, didn't he? What promoter, Brandon, will actually give a fighter a big guarantee who is not under contract? When does that ever happen, dude?
It's not going to happen unless you're like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, where you're just selling to the roof. That's all, you know.
And that's it. And that's it. Guys, I need to take a break from this. Takes precedence, a super chat from my brother, Sly Tendencies. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat, sir. He says, need your thoughts on Hellenius popping dirty. AJ loses the white fight to Peds. What the hell is going on with Eddie Hearn and UCAD BBBFC? This is ridiculous. Once again, guys, this is one of the reasons why I stopped covering this. And once again, I've been a beat writer. I've been in this business for the past 20 years, guys. And I started out as a mere beat writer, right? And once again, I miss it because that's exactly what Brandon is doing. And he is knocking it out of the park. And guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother Brandon Walker and 210 Boxing for all the latest interviews, for all the biggest stars in boxing. He is knocking it out of the park. Go get the latest insights and interviews with all of your favorite fighters, care of 210 Boxing. Guys, please go do that at this time. But I will say this, and there's a reason why I stopped covering this event, because I found out very quickly that everyone at the elite level, if they want to compete at the elite level, yeah, they're working with a strength and conditioning coach. And once again, the late, great Emmanuel Stewart, God rest his soul, one of my greatest mentors, characterized strength and conditioning coaches as the drug pushers of boxing. He said, you know what? Before these guys infiltrated our beloved boxing, we never had to worry about fighters pissing dirty. Now we have to worry about everybody. And he used to call the wild card gym Juice Central. He said, man, I don't trust any of those motherfuckers that come out of wild card gym. In my opinion, they're all fucking dirty. And that's a God's honest truth, guys. So in my opinion, and maybe this is a very strange way of looking at this, and this is why I stopped covering this event. I'm like, look, if the fighters are doing it and they don't mind, they're the ones who are taking the biggest risk. They're the ones who are at risk getting hit with guys on PEDs if they're doing it and they don't care. If the promoters don't care, why the hell should we? Why the hell should we care? And dare I say, here's a very strange, unorthodox take on this. I will argue and prove me wrong that the sport has become safer since all of the fighters in the elite, at the elite level have been proven. Once again, it's the best, or it's the worst kept secret in boxing. Anyone within the business understands at the elite level, everyone is doing it, right? I will argue that it's become a much safer product as a result. Brandon, in your infinite wisdom, in your experience, what causes the most damage? Elongated damage, elongated assault, once again, perpetual beating over 12 rounds, or a one-punch knockout? What causes the most damage physically?
It all depends, really. I mean, most of the time it'll be a sustained beating.
That's it.
But a lot of times when I've seen some knockouts where it's just like, shit, man, like, god damn, you know, even on local shows, you know, where the guy's walking around an hour later, and I'm just like, you know,
I'm gonna ask you, brother, when have you ever seen a one-punch knockout result in an induced coma? It doesn't. It doesn't, guys.
Well, no, not if it's early. Not if it's early.
It's always the sustained beating that produces the most head trauma and the most damage. And guys, look throughout your history. We're seeing, okay, lesser and lesser, right? Head trauma or violent or deaths in the ring compared to what it used to be. Now, once again, the most head trauma, the worst damage always comes from a sustained attack. That steady drop that fills the bucket. Guys, it's become a safer product, but I will say this, it's tempered the product. You don't see as many wars in the center of the ring. The only wars that you see from this point forward, lately, in today's product, are usually at 118 and below. You never see any middleweight wars anymore, any light heavyweight wars anymore. You will never see Ibuchi versus David Tua ever again. You will never see Layman Brewster versus Sergey Liakovich ever again. You will never see that, guys. It doesn't happen because of fighters on PEDs. That's it. And once again, so if you're asking me, Sly, my thoughts on Oleinis popping dirty, hey, brother, get used to it. Get used to it, guys. Because everyone within this business, if they want to compete at the elite level, yeah, they're doing it. Go talk to Memo Heredia. He laughs at this shit. Oh, yeah, I can make a designer drug for you just by, engineering. And these guys have never heard of it. We're ahead of the curve. Well, guys, why do you think there are banned substances added to the banned substance list on the WADA list every single year? There are new substances added to that banned substance list every year. Why do you think that is? Because they're ahead of the curve. They laugh at drug testing, guys. Anyway, your thoughts, Brandon? I know mine is an unorthodox take, but I don't give a shit. I stopped covering this story 15 years ago because it was nonsense. There was no need. Once again, if the fighters and the promoters don't give a shit, why should the fans? We're not the ones taking the punishment. Well, they are. And if they don't mind, who gives a shit?
The fans don't care. I mean, a guy can test positive and they'll make a million excuses for him. If they like him, they'll be like, well, no. I mean, he's not dirty, So it's like it really doesn't. I don't know. With PDs, it's weird because, like I said, I've been in a lot of gyms, but I'm not there like watching fighters take stuff. You know what I mean? I've never seen no shit like that. But I've been around people that have done it, but not in boxing, like football players, stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure people do stuff in boxing. Anything that's gonna make you feel better, you're gonna use it again. And that's where it comes down to the strength and conditioning coach and who's on your team. And, I feel like when a guy has a proven history of being dirty, those are the guys that shouldn't be allowed in boxing. But boxing is such a unregulated sport where, there's no rules to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, man. And once again, this is the worst kept secret in boxing. Everyone knows. Everyone knows, brother. And once again, I think the solution is if someone tests dirty and he's working with a strength and conditioning coach, give that asshole a lifetime ban. Well, once again, they've got to get it from somewhere. Most of these fighters they have no idea. They trust their strength and conditioning coach. Oh, take this. Yeah, we're fine. We're good. This is going to help you have quicker reflexes. It's going to improve your strength, improve your physical ability, improve your speed. Yeah, you'll be great. Don't worry about it. Okay? And if they don't want to disclose who the strength and conditioning coach is, then give them a lifetime ban. That's the only way you're going to do anything about this. And if anyone doesn't, if they don't do something about this, the promoters, the sanctioning organizations, the state athletic commissions, well, then if they don't give a shit, once again, I'm going to pose a question. Why should the fans? Why should the writers? I stopped giving a shit years ago. And why? Because the fighters don't care, and they're the ones who are taking the risk. That's it. That's it. I don't see how you can see this any differently. Like, once again, prove me wrong. Come up with a better solution, guys. That's it. So once again, thank you for the super chat, Sly. We appreciate it, brother. Now, once again, I think we've already gone off on Terrence Crawford enough, right? This is getting old. Once again, it's obvious to anyone within this business, he's an ignorant tool. Once again, right now, he's the hottest fighter in boxing. There's no debating that. You cannot deny that he is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Okay, where no one's debating that. But he doesn't know shit about the business. Brandon, why do you think negotiations took over a year to finalize a deal with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford? Why do you think that took so long?
Money. So no other reason but money.
Yeah, and who had the inflated sense of worth going into this negotiation? It was Terrence Crawford, guys. Look, I was told by Steven, and I wrote an article about it last June, right? Or was it July? I think it was July of 2022. He was asking for $22 million to start negotiations. Now, why the fuck would he ever think that he was worth $22 million? When all of his pay-per-view events leading up to that point lost his promoter and network money. Now, keep in mind, going into this event, he lost BLK Prime money. His pay-per-view event with David Avanesian tanked. He made $4.5 million. And once again, promoters just want to exploit, networks just want to exploit the fighters. Brother, I don't see you returning any of their investment. Did you? Did you attempt to give back some of that money?
They're definitely not going to give back that money at all.
Exactly. So shut the fuck up, Terrence. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you're going on Joe Rogan complaining about the boxing business being shady to a guy who works for the biggest culprit of exploiting talent, Dana White? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. In my opinion, Terrence Crawford, he's got the potential of being one of the biggest stars in boxing. And he has the potential of also being one of the biggest cancers within the business of boxing. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's running around talking about how shady the sport is. Brother, learn more about the business before espousing such rubbish. And there it is. I tell you what, guys, let's move on. Once again, we're on borrowed time right now. I still have a lot of homework to do for tomorrow night's broadcast. Once again, guys, in the very first comment on the board, I listed the address in which you guys can all see tomorrow night's fight card in San Antonio and listen to how Brandon and I call the action. But once again, we're going to talk about guys at home with the Furies. And upon doing my research, I found out that, and upon speaking with Sugar, right, I found out that for the first 4 episodes, guys, it's very dark. And if you're a fan of Tyson Fury, it's going to be very difficult to watch because it really showcases his plight and his fight and his, difficulty with bipolar disorder and severe depression. It's hard to watch, guys, for the first 4 episodes. And what I came to find out is that, he called his attorney and said, you know what, this is way too intrusive. They're taping way too much. We don't want anyone to see more of this. And so he called up his attorneys, and they called up Netflix and tried to get out of this deal, right? And so they said, well, you're obligated to do this, but we will make a deal with you guys. We will cease to showcase all of these vulnerabilities of Tyson Fury, and we'll make it a lot more lighthearted. And so, guys, when you watch the series, the first 4 episodes, as a result, are very dark, and they're very hard to watch. And it's something that has haunted me since I've watched it, because this really hits home. Guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but my girlfriend, and I lived with her for quite a while, and we're still together, but we don't live together any longer because of this. She suffers from the same ailment of bipolar disorder and severe depression, right? Severe anxiety and depression. And, you know, I will just say this. I wish I had seen this before. I wish I had seen something like this when I first got together with her 7 years ago, because I would have been more well-equipped to deal with it. And watching this has brought back just horrific memories for me. Guys, this is nothing to scoff at. This is nothing to laugh at. No joking matter. And I really feel for Paris Fury, because he's not like this with his fans. He's not like this with his kids. And he seems to take it out on the person that he trusts the most and is most comfortable with. That's his wife, Paris Fury. And it's the same thing my girlfriend, at one time fiance. She would be super nice to everyone. She would tolerate and put on a brave face for everyone. And she would show me her true colors. And she would take it out on me, because she is who I am who she trusted the most. I was the person she trusted the most. Guys, it's a horrific thing, and it's a real problem. And once again, it's been haunting me ever since I watched this. It was hard to watch. So that's why you see it's almost like a tale of two furies, right? The first 4 episodes are horrific if you're a fan of Tyson Fury, and it's going to be very difficult to watch. And the last 5 episodes are, dude, it's basically At Home with the Kardashians. It's very lighthearted, but I will say this. Tyson's not going to gain any new fans from this. Brandon, why is there seemingly, and I think people just don't understand, all of the erratic responses on Instagram and Twitter? That's a product of his ailment, and people don't understand that. And there is a ton, almost a fan mass hatred of Tyson Fury at this point. Do you understand the mass hatred of Tyson Fury at this point?
I mean, I know he has a lot of fans that don't like him. I mean, I'm not a fan or a hater of him, so.
Well,
I'm
you're
kind
in
of
this
indifferent.
business. I don't expect you to, brother.
No, there's some fighters I don't like.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. You can keep that to yourself, my friend.
Yeah. No, but I want to watch that. I want to watch that series. I haven't watched it, so I can't. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So that's why I want to watch it.
Well, seriously, watch it on Netflix, guys, and I urge all of you to watch it. And once again, if you have a relationship with someone who suffers from bipolar disorder or manic depression, right, and severe anxiety, go watch it. Okay, you're gonna see exactly what they're going through, unveiled before your very eyes. And once again, guys, I was so affected by it. I actually wrote a song about it and recorded it with YCAM Records. And I'll list the link right here. It's a lyric video in which I talk about how it affected me and what basically I had to deal with, right? It's a fucking roller coaster, and it's hard to deal with. And unfortunately, she wasn't diagnosed when I got together with her. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know the half of it. Unfortunately, I didn't find out until too late, until we had already broken up. But once again, we're still together. We're just not living together, and it's by design. Yeah, it's a very, very difficult relationship to deal with. And, for the life of me, I love her and I can't abandon her. I am still with her. But, just like you'll see on At Home with the Furies, what Paris Fury, she's like, I just let him have his space when he goes off and gets in these moods, and I, let him come back whenever he's ready. That's basically the way my relationship is with my honey. When she's ready to hang out and have a good time, well, then that's what we do. And whenever she starts having those tendencies, then it's time to call it a night, right? Guys, it's serious. And that's what you're going to see at Home with the Furies. My brother Kamikaze, welcome to the show, sir. He says, thanks for speaking on this, Joseph. I recently just broke up with my girlfriend who deals with depression, and it was very hard, but I wish her the best. Yeah, brother. It's you feel for them, but here's the dilemma. Do you really want to subject yourself to that kind of treatment? It's very difficult, guys. So once again, judge slowly. And I hope this provides a lot of insight into why Tyson Fury makes these erratic decisions and videos and comments on Twitter and Facebook or on Instagram. This should provide a lot of insight. And once again, guys, judge slowly. And try not to hate on the man so much. He's going through a lot, even though he's, arguably the best heavyweight on the planet, right? Aside from Alexander Usyk. That leads us into our final topic, Brandon. Alexander Usyk's fighting tomorrow, and it's going to be televised on ESPN Plus. He's going to be taking on Daniel Dubois. Once again, he's a 10-1 betting favorite over Daniel Dubois, the unified heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, on a lot of pound for pound lists. He is the number one guy. Well, obviously replaced by Tyson Fury and maybe Naoya Inoue, but he's still in the top 3 on most pound for pound lists. Brandon, is there any chance for an upset here from Daniel Dynamite Dubois?
There's a chance, but with Dubois, he was supposed to be the next great thing from Britain. The next great heavyweight, the guy that was going to replace Joshua, and Joe Joyce put an into that. You never know. He has to get Usyk's respect early, because if he lets Usyk get a rhythm, if he can't hurt Usyk within the first 3 rounds, by round 4, Usyk's going to be tagging him, and it'll be a long night for Dubois. But you got to favor Usyk. Usyk, he is an undersized heavyweight, but he's clearly the best out there. He's the best by a mile. I would love to see him in Fury, just to see if he can pull it off with Fury. But for whatever reason, that fight's not happening. I don't want to put the blame on both guys or on Fury or on Usyk, but that's the fight that we do need. But this fight should be interesting, because Dubois, he's still a puncher, and you never know. He may be in great shape. He may come out. He may come to fight, or he may just lay down. So you never know. With this fight though, there is some danger. It's not just a walk in the park, because Dubois is a big guy that can correct.
Well, in my best Max Kellerman voice, I'll tell you why Daniel Dubois is going to get knocked out, Brandon. No, here's why, guys. Someone just gave him the kiss of death. Now, once again, there's someone far worse than Teddy Atlas in making pre-fight predictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his name is David Haye. Have you ever seen David Haye get a pre-fight prediction of a big fight correct? Ever?
No.
Ever? No. Guys, he just picked Daniel Dubois for the upset. So, guys, go ahead, bet on it, put some long green on Alexander Usyk by way of knockout. Guys, that's the only way you're going to make money. And choose a rounds bet. Pick a rounds bet, right? So right now, my sexy bet take the group round bet between 7 and 9, and you'll actually make money, a plus 300 on Alexander Usyk. So that means if you want to bet $1,000 on Alexander Usyk, group round bet on the BetMGM, 7 through 9 by way of knockout favoring Usyk, you'll win $3,000. How do you like that, Brandon?
I mean, I wouldn't take 7 through 9. That's kind of risky with Usyk, but I would definitely take him the money line. The over and under 6.5. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, I tell you what, brother. Let me ask you this. JD Spades, thank you for joining us, sir. He says, who did Coach Gogi go for? Take a wild guess, brother. Once again, his characterization of Alexander Usyk is, very intelligent predator. And once again, he is gaining strength, gaining bulk, gaining size, still maintains his speed. And guys, if you look at the press conference, look at the weigh-in, look at the eyes between both fighters. It looks like a man fighting a boy. Daniel Dubois, I hate this fight for him. He's going to get hurt and he's going to get ruined. He's going to get knocked out in this fight. Guaranteed. He looks like a deer in the headlights. He looks like a boy fighting a grown man is what it looks like. And brother, the difference in speed is unreal. He is slower than molasses compared to Alexander Usyk. And with the consistent feinting motion, the consistent movement, Daniel Dubois, guys, if you say he's got a puncher's chance, guys, you need to set your feet to get the maximum amount of torque on a heavyweight punch. And with the consistent angles, the consistent movement of Usyk, he's going to be forced to reset. That's taking away his power, guys. This is not a good fight, in my opinion. Frank Warren is cashing out his in the past, he's been the heir apparent. He's been the prospect to look out for. No, after his showing with Lorena, after his loss with Joe Joyce, Frank Warren, in my opinion, is catching his ass out. And there it is. That's my opinion. Your final thoughts, Brandon? Are you there, Brandon?
Yes, I'm here. Usyk should definitely win. It's just a stay busy showcase fight. You know, really, everyone should be ready to watch tomorrow night. You know, we got a really good card in San Antonio. It's mostly I would call it the future. I would call it the future card because, as you mentioned, you got Javi Fernandez, you got David Cardenas, and then Ricky Nunez Jr. And I mean, we got a lot of more other fights. I would need to look at the battle card, but I know you're gonna have Corey Snap. It's gonna be on the card.
Yep.
We're gonna have the ring card girl Myra. Myra Hernandez on the card. So
Myra Rodriguez, yes.
Myra Rodriguez.
Ooh, the Mamacita ring card girl who can punch. Dude, she is a beautiful looking, lovely young lady, isn't she?
Yeah. I can't say too much, but yeah.
Oh, well, let me tell you, I'll say it for you. She is a lovely young lady, and she's a model, and she's a ring card girl. And brother, she gets in the ring and she can crack. What's not to love? And there it is. Guys, it's going to be a great card. And once again, it's going to be, let me once again post the link for you guys, right? It's going to be care of Javier Guerrero. Always does great work. It's going to be care of what's his channel? Live Stream Network is what it's called, guys. I will go to his channel and post the link once again, and you can hear, if you're interested, see the entire card. Now, today at the live weigh-in, I did the emceeing as well as DJing. I was the DJ today at the live weigh-in, as well as the ring announcer. So I had a lot of fun. I was really busy, but man, I had fun. Guys, that's one of the most fun weigh-ins I've ever conducted, right? So that's the channel, guys. I just posted the link. Livestream Media Network is the channel. Please go subscribe. And please check out how Brandon and I call the action tomorrow.
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
we're almost an hour in. Are there any parting shots that you'd like to give to our listening audience tonight?
Oh no! Hopefully we can do this again, and definitely tune in. And as I mentioned, make sure y'all watch the fights tomorrow.
You know, I will say this, Brandon. I would really like to create a podcast for us every single week where you can actually talk about the news that you have. I'll talk about the news that I have. We can also talk about current events and who we want to throw into the bus and who we want to praise. How do you like that, man? You want to do that once every like an hour, just an hour podcast every single week? Would you be down for that, brother?
I'm all for it. I should have the time, but I'm all for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do it, brother. Let's do it. Guys, well, I will say this. My brother G Funky. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to G Funky Boxing, the boss. He said, Return to Forever featuring Chick Corea. Insane album. Yes, one of my all-time favorites. Guys, if you haven't already heard it, go check it out. G Funky knows music. Guys, on behalf of the incomparable Brandon Walker of 210 Boxing, please go subscribe at this time. And guys, please, if you can, click on the link and let me know what you think of the song that I wrote when I was going through the dilemma and going through with my honey Margie, her bout with bipolar disorder and manic depression. And I wrote a song about it. It's called Beautiful Mystery. Please let me know what you think. Please please listen to it. I wrote and recorded everything on it, right? And I want to thank you for spending this evening with me, this hour with me on Friday night. Guys, it means a lot to me. You guys are my family, and I love all of you guys. On behalf of the incomparable Brandon Walker, 210 Boxing, please go subscribe. I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Have a great weekend, everybody.
FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present WAWR Week Radio Chats with ring announcer and commentator Joseph Heron.